Welcome back to the Rogues Passage podcast. Inaugural recording in the new studio.
Absolutely. This is as new as it can be. We wanted to do this days ago, and I kept falling asleep, so here we are.
I'm Tanner Cherry. I'm joined today by...
Brady Magpie.
And I'm Rocky Kwan.
Yeah, again, we got double back-to-back, I guess, for the podcast episodes. We wanted to have Rocky back because I borrowed his deck for a tournament, drove all the way to Saskatoon to play in the Face-to-Face event, had a grand time. I remember we were doing play-by-play, by text, because he wanted to know how his deck was running. I wish I was a better pilot. I did okay, but yeah, we're going to break it down. I think it's actually it's the best to break it down with Rocky, so we're going to we'll talk about Face-to-Face. We'll talk about some Secret Lair stuff, and we'll see where it goes.
We have some time to talk about some Pauper.
Yeah. Oh man, I want to get out and try. I really wish the Face-to-Face events would have Pauper, right? They kind of just, I guess, don't.
Mr. Ackerman.
Looking at you.
We're friends now. I could do this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no scheduled Calgary date, I don't think, but for Edmonton, let's see if we can make it happen. Yep. I mean, it's not going to be like an RCQ or nothing, right? Like a qualifier, but
yeah,
that would be so cool if one of the pro tours was Pauper, wouldn't it?
I would love to see it. I just think that the reason they don't do it is because Wizards knows there's no real money in it.
Oh yeah, right. Real competitive formats are very much inherently used to push product.
Yeah.
Especially standard, right? Standard sells cards. Modern sometimes sells cards, and they figured out how to get that going lately.
Wait, there's no money to be made in Pauper?
No, because it's all commons.
Yeah. Well, that's what. Okay, my interjection to this would be, but the foiling. Yeah. But the foiling. Yeah. Well, actually, that is intense because as I'm running Simic Infect, and with the Blighted Agent. Foil is 20-ish minimum, 20-ish minimum, and that's a lot. That adds up. You know?
That's unfortunately the crossover between formats, right? Blighted Agent is that expensive because it's not just a Pauper card. It's an all-star in Modern Infect, right? It's
multiple formats across the map there. Then okay, that makes sense.
Even though it's a common, it is still the best thing to put Infect on, right?
Well, even a Boreal Grazer, cards like that, Vines of the Vastwood foiling from first gen, that stuff's expensive. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yo, actually, sorry, just to interject here, I want to talk about. I don't know. Have you guys seen? Do you know of Rhystic Studies, the YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Have you seen? I'm about an hour into it. His most recent video, he did an hour and 40-minute video on the legacy of foil Magic cards. And
really?
It's crazy. It's all he digs real deep into how the process of foiling a card and when it happened and how to do it, and it actually sort of transitions into a hit piece when it gets to the part about curling and stuff, foils curling. But it's incredible, and anything that Sam does, the Rhystic Studies YouTube channel,
props, hell yeah,
watch it. It's I love what he does for content because it's like a documentary about Magic that anybody can digest. They don't have to be interested in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I haven't done my Rhystic Studies deep dive yet, and I'm pretty much kind of tapped out for things like the Command Zone blog and all, pretty much a lot of those guys. I'm up to date with, but there's all sorts of different perspectives you can find from across.
Yeah, dude,
I don't know how many different platforms are now starting.
We gotta have a night because this episode about foiling is for sure one of his best, and that says a lot.
We kind of tapped into a little bit of that, at least in terms of how to massage it out with spider fingers.
yeah, that's funny because that was on our Commander Legends box opening, and he goes into depth about how that was one of the worst sets for curled foils ever.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was the I think the first time I personally ever took notice of it. Period.
Really?
Really?
I've never seen a foil that was garbage like that. I've never seen a Pringle before that set. Period. For myself, I've been collecting as far back as Apocalypse. I was shooketh, and at the same time, I was kind of whatever. I saw a lot of people kind of there was people using Pringle actual. People say Pringle. They were using Pringle cans quite literally with a duct tape system.
Yeah.
You know, a whole bunch of different things.
reverse
I was just curious with very, very cheapy ones, so I would just massage them out, and I learned it's very good that way. A lot of people use humidifiers.
Yeah, you want dehumidifiers usually.
Dehumidifier? Whatever.
Yeah.
No, I've heard of, whatever. People were using machines.
Yeah.
It was cool science and it works there. But
I
aside from that,
recommend-
I've never come across it, ever.
I recommend watching the video from Rhystic Studies because he goes into depth as to exactly the humidity levels of all the factories that Magic prints with, and how different regions of the world will curve concave and different regions of the world will convex curve.
Yeah.
Well, and how to about the point that I was at about the hour mark was where he was like really digging into that.
That's some
Masterpiece.
admirable work.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, archivist work like that is very, very important.
Yeah, he puts out like 2 videos a year, I think now. Oh,
makes
they're
sense.
incredible.
It's like, I put work into this.
Anyway, let's talk about this right here. This, I believe, no, I did sleeve it back up. I ended up
Good.
sleeving it in some fresh sleeves.
Oh,
just so
good.
that
I'm
they were
so glad to
buttery.
hear. Good. Yeah.
I also have your Agatha's Soul Cauldron here. This Rakdos.
Oh, yeah, keep the tokens, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah, the tokens that we added to it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There were some tokens.
It's like, yeah, we
So,
just may as well just give it to Rocky.
let's do a breakdown on this because I got to pilot Rocky's deck. It felt great. It felt good. This was the most, I guess, the most serious tournament setting that I've ever put myself into. And man, some of the things that I made mistakes on were just like soul crushing. Like, even I just want to talk about the fact that my first round opponent, his name is Carson. I've actually got like all my match record stuff here so I can like kind of remember and reminisce about the beatings I took.
Just to interject, that is, in my opinion, the best way to get better at Magic is
always having that.
and just reflecting on your post game plays.
One of our pod mates, actually, Cody, he's been tallying all of his wins and losses and all of his commanders now. And I'm like, you know what? In general, no. And I'm like, you know what? Because I've taken apart and created I don't know how many decks at this point, and sometimes even a commander I keep going back to it. I'm like, you know what? If I honestly had the facts behind it, like, or actually really documenting my time with the commander, not the deck, but the commander. You know, I think I would have probably had much longer lasting relationship.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're interested about like this deck that we played, check out the last episode, Rogue's Passage podcast. We went over the deck. That was like I was learning about this deck. I hadn't played this deck yet. Very new to it. And I will say that there was a couple people that I played that was like the mirror match, and it was very apparent that I lost because of the reps. The lack of reps.
Interesting.
It just felt like and I don't know, maybe that was intimidation, but let's start with this first match. So I played against, I didn't write the name down, I believe his name was Carson. Wonderful guy. I did eke out the win on the first game. So it's like, in regards to tempo, feeling good, right? I think it ended up hitting the breach with multiverse, spun out of control, and it was a really good feeling because I start casting cards and then eventually just opponent piling all the cards into hand, like scooping the lands, being like, I've seen enough. Like, all right.
So what was he playing?
He was playing Rakdos midrange. So the Trumpeting Carnosaur.
Yeah.
Still sort of a similar list, right?
I do like that list. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I would play that.
Not. I don't know if midrange is running the Atali. Is it?
Not the mid range. It's not running Atali. So it's a little more control-y and a little less explosive. So,
right. Definitely a lot of removal.
Yeah.
It felt good. Like winning the first match, it felt like it was like, my first time sitting down. I was so nervous. I was ridiculous. Like, ask Brandon. He was like talking me down off the ledge.
You're like hands shaking.
Yeah. I was literally just like wound. And then I sat down and it was like that win, boom, gone.
Yeah.
And then followed by 2 losses. I lost the match. But okay, the second game, like I put myself in a position, we volleyed back and forth. I put myself in a position, I was at 1 life, but I flipped the Atali and I attacked him, trampled over 7 infect counters. Atali's on the board. He's out of cards. No cards in hand.
Okay.
And I'm like, I got this. Next turn, like, what is he going to be able to do? Like, it's an indestructible infect 11/11, right? With trample. And I was like, he's got no, like he ate up all the damage he could with the creatures that he had on his board, so he had no more blockers. And like in that position, I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna win my first match. and he peels the card off the top of the deck.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Plays Liliana of the Veil.
You were saying that, yeah.
You got one
Clutch
outer.
move, bro.
Yeah,
Top
one
deck
outer.
to win.
Exactly. And he was like, "There's only one of them in the deck."
Oh, it was a true one outer.
Yeah, it was a true one of, and he was like, that was the only card.
Real sports ball moment there, boys. Getting a score when it matters.
He draws that. Of course, I think it's the second mode or whichever mode on Liliana of the Veil is each bonus acts a creature.
And you didn't have any other creatures in play. Hey, just
so I had to
just
sack the
that
Atali.
boy.
I was like, man, that was the only way that creature was going to the graveyard.
Yeah.
And I then, of course, I only had one life point, and I can't remember what it was, but he dispatched me very quickly after that. And then the next game, so I'm already, I'm nervous, right? But like, man, so this thing happened where I flipped, I cast a Atali. I can't remember what I cast on my side, but I flipped a Trumpeting Carnosaur on his side. And I believe that creature has Discover 5 when it hits the battlefield. And I was like, okay, it hits the battlefield. And I was like, Discover trigger. And then as I was thinking, I was like, okay, play land for turn. And then it was this weird thing where like, I didn't know that what I had just done wrong, right? But he just starts looking around and he goes, excuse me, stop. And I'm like, what? Like, what? And he just puts his hand up and he won't talk to me, right? And that was the weirdest thing was like, I'm asking, like, what did I do wrong? And he's like, just shaking his head, waiting for a judge. The judge comes over and he was like, yeah, he played a land. So forfeiting the Discover trigger, correct? And I was like, fuck, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, you missed the trigger.
I made a game action without addressing the trigger.
Yep.
It's gone. And I was like, okay, moving forward.
That's some cutthroat
and
shit.
well,
it's gotta be, though.
It's competitive REL.
It's gotta be.
That's rule.
You're talking to him. He's like,
It was a very like that. I think that was one of the most awkward. Like he was a very kind, super dope, really awesome guy, and he handled it perfectly.
Yep.
He was playing on a little higher level than me. He could see it happen, and he knew that he was like, I just keep my mouth shut. I get a judge, and I get.
Always play smart.
Yeah, so he played very smart.
Yeah, of course.
But I like being new to it. I was like, what did I do? What did I do? Why won't you talk to me? Why won't you talk to me?
Yeah.
and then I think like because I missed that Discover 5, like here cast a up to 5 drop for free. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was like I don't know. I can't.
That's a free Archfiend. So
exactly. Yeah. So or a removal spell or a burn down the house, right? Like
yeah.
Man, used a lot of that, didn't you?
Yep.
You made a.
Oh yeah, burn down the house is a great card.
It's fantastic,
did you
right?
end up making any devils at all?
Yes.
Oh,
once.
Just once.
And
out of how many times?
Well, I feel like let's say it's burn down the house, right? The one mode is
a 5-drop, 5 damage to each creature, and or make 3 devils.
Or is it 5?
Or make 3 devils.
Yes.
Yeah. Or make 3 devils.
5 damage to each creature, or make 3 devils. I feel like the only time I felt comfortable making 3 devils was when I was like win more, like I was already in a great position.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't know if that was right.
Yeah. That's a very interesting way to think about it.
Yeah.
Because against a lot of control decks, with the sack outlets, you use those to pad your bombs as well. So I think it really depends on the board state. It really depends on what you have in your hand and what your next moves are.
Yeah, I wish I realized later on in a match later that if I make the devils early on, then the board wipe becomes 4 damage or 5 damage to each creature. Or a specific creature that I want.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So I actually like leverage the what's the 3 damage one that was in there?
Brotherhood's End.
Brotherhood's End.
Yeah.
It turns Brotherhood's End into the ability to kill a Shieldred, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
That is something, and here's the thing, like I go into these things and I'm like, all right, I'm probably going to face the top 2 meta decks. I don't think there was an Atraxa registered in the competition.
Wow, that's crazy.
There was 12.
Wow.
I mean, I got spanked by one in a commander. I went for the one casual commander game. Absolutely. I wish Brandon or we ended up like he ended up following us and we got a second.
Brando, right? Like
well, no, not from Commander Cookout. There was a guy that I just bought like one of those player, what do you call it, credits. I just bought $5 to play. I paid $5. Oh my god.
Play tickets.
Yes, got a play ticket. Got to play some Commander. One game playing Chishiro, feeling really good. Feeling really, really good, except I gambled my hand for mana, and I was like, that ended up being one of the worst games I've ever had with my deck. And Buddy was playing Grand Unifier, and oh my god.
Yep.
Absolutely. In Commander especially, like, you say whatever, in any format, I think that's one of the craziest, most powerful cards ever created.
Yeah.
It just destroyed my butt.
Like it's great in every format. Like I believe it's being played in Legacy Reanimator.
Yep.
It's being played
in Reanimator
Modern.
too?
Yeah,
oh,
well that's
god.
the thing. Like why would you pay 4 different colors of mana.
Why
and
would you
can
want
just-
it? Why would you mana correction? No.
No, just
Who
get it out
cares?
turn 1. Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Just focus on one of the colors on it.
Yeah.
Go for the reanimator. Oh man, no. But he wasn't doing that. No, it was just classic proper infect, and I was very impressed.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing
very
proliferates. Like if you just get one infect counter, you just go to town.
I don't think he probably figured it once. It was
Oh, wait,
straight up.
wait, you're talking about Grand Unifier?
Yeah, Grand Unifier.
That
yeah.
doesn't proliferate, right? Yeah.
No, it does not proliferate. But
Right.
the deck focused on infect.
Okay.
It was just Phyrexian tribal. It was horrible. It was amazing. I was so impressed, but also like just seething. My Chishro deck wants to win, so I was just like, oh god, oh man, all because I started with a mana vault and 2 green. I was like, okay, we're good. But I'm like, no, I needed red almost the entire game. I was like, I was so screwed.
Yeah. Well,
Damn.
so I lost to Rakdos midrange. Dude was a G. Totally wonderful. Thank you for the games. If you happen to watch this, I did try to give our little business cards out to every one of my opponents. I don't know whether or not that translates into views or whatever. I did at the Calgary weekend. I did play in the Pioneer Challenge, and I played against somebody where I was like, hey, like he was like super into it, and I was like, let's like come over, let's record some games, and I gave him the card, and I don't have any way to contact him or get a hold of you. Like, if you're out there, get a hold of us.
Honestly, anyone that really took to us, like if we didn't, and there was a couple. We did our best to network and have a lot of fun with a lot of people out there. There was some really cool that band we ran into.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Frequencies. What is it? Something frequencies. Oh no.
there was a band. It wasn't me. I briefly met these guys, but yeah, I guess.
Oh, I went out for some nicotine. I ran into this amazing band that were just like, yeah, we're just touring and blah blah blah. We started talking. They might be some contributing some music soon to our project. Who knows?
So were they playing Magic?
Yeah, they were playing some Magic, and they were
okay.
so fun. They were actually literally one of the best parts for me. They were a highlight, and I'm going to take a moment here.
Yeah, you do that. I'm gonna talk about my match 2 because this was it worked out to 5 matches. There was only it was standard. I think the modern tournament had 50 or 48 people, and the standard one actually only had about 12.
Only 12.
Only 12
It
people.
turned out to 12.
You
Wow.
you know what made me happy about that? I got my expressive iteration promo, no matter what, because I think the top 16 people got the expressive iteration promo.
All right.
So I was like, sick. I'm locked to get the promo that I wanted. Or no, sorry, it was top 8. Top 8 got the promo, and I got 7th place.
Yeah.
I guess buried lead.
Okay.
7th out of 12th.
That's not bad. 7th out of 12th. You're top, or you're the bottom 40%. But
Yeah, I still get to say I top 8 at a tournament.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Round 2 was interesting. Played against a guy named Leon. He sat down and he was like, man, I'm sorry. I'm pretty new. You're going to have to bear with me, right? And I was like, don't worry. I was like, I'm not exactly like well-versed in this tournament thing either.
Well, you're new. You were new at the deck, so
New at the deck.
even
and
playing
also,
ground.
Yeah, and like not very well-versed in competitive REL, right?
Yeah.
But he sits down, he's playing mono red, and I was like, shit, this deck's fast, right? It's fast, and I got to just make sure I get there.
Control the board.
Yeah, and like you can look at my life total here. Like I go from 20, 19, 16, 10, 3, 1 in game 1, and I put an exclamation mark next to the 1 here because I go to 1. I go to 1, and then I flip a tally and attack
For 11.
for an open board
Yeah.
on 11, and then I was like 11 poison, and he was like, okay. And then he started untapping his lands, and I was like, nope, we're done.
That's it, good sir. Yeah.
And he was like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's only 10, isn't it? It's like, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, on to game 2. And game 2, yeah, like it was wild. I think he got me down to 6. Like the clock is there. The clock is very real. Mono red puts you against the wall and makes you make decisions. And if your shit doesn't work, you're dead. But I 2-0'd that one, and that felt good. That brought my spirits back up, right? Started off with a match loss. Then I had a match win, and I was like, okay, I can do this.
So what you're saying is you were one planeswalker away from 2-0. Wow.
One planeswalker?
Yeah, in game 1.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So for sure. Well, actually, I thought about that as well. If he didn't rip the Liliana,
Yeah.
I might have been matched against a different opponent for the second round, right? So
true.
it wouldn't have been
Yeah.
guaranteed.
True. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, I was very close. I do feel like my first match there against the Rakdos, like the feeling of like setting up like, okay, I have the big score on 4 and I have the payoff on 5.
Yeah.
those are like you have the nuts. It's hard to lose those games.
Yeah.
I struggled when that like didn't happen. Like there was a game where I felt like I was just like I draw 4 lands in a row, and it was like, draw 4 lands in a row when you really need a payoff, and you're just done.
Yeah, that's magic.
Yep. So yeah, that was round 2. Round 3 was against a guy named Adam. That was Rakdos ramp. That was the mirror.
All right.
And he was just really had the reps.
Okay.
He just had the reps.
Okay.
And actually, this was an interesting game because I sat down for my round 3 and my opponent was not there. And then everybody else started playing their rounds. And the judge came over and he was like, I have the times written down here. He's like, if he's not here by 2:27, he gets a game loss. If he's not here by 2:37, he gets a match loss. So I was like, okay, that's like, I waited around. My phone flips to 2:27. The chair pulls out. And I was like, okay, here's my opponent. He sits down, and I was like, whatever, he's here, let's go.
Yeah.
But then the judge walks over, and he's like, no, it's 2:27. You get a game loss for this one. And I was like, sick. Okay, I'm up a game, and he disputed it heavily. He was like, no, I want to.
Ruthless.
Yeah, he was like, I want to speak to your superior. I want to speak to your manager. Basically, like he did what he could, and he got in there, and he got the superior judge to come by, and then he was like, I want your superior. And it worked.
It seems like someone couldn't follow the format's rules.
Yeah.
The shitty thing is like he's apologizing to me. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm pretty sure he just knew he could muscle it in, right? So he muscled it in, and I was like, all right, whatever, let's shuffle up and go. So he did not get the game loss.
Yep.
And he said right away, he was like, I'm gonna feel like a dirtbag if you win one game. Because if I win one, I should have won the match, right?
Yeah.
He beat me to, like, I was 0-2 against him, so he was like, thank God I didn't drop a game to you, because I would have felt like a total jerk. Which, I mean, yeah, like, again, like these people just know how to work the system, and they're used to what they have available to use to them, right? And like I can't fault them for.
Is this, not to interrupt from this whole thing, but is this similar to taking away blue from a tournament?
In what way?
I don't know. I'm just seeing the correlation. You're like, give someone the access to flaunt the system in any way they can for anything at all.
Well, no, I'll give Adam the benefit of the doubt here. He just knew what resources were available to him, and he wasn't just going to take a game loss when he was like, I'm pretty sure I don't have to. Whereas like, I don't know, like maybe it should have been.
How late was he?
He was right on time.
So he was 15 minutes late, right? The first round is 15. I think
it was 10 minutes that he was late to
I
sit
can.
down.
Yeah, I would. That's.
And anyway, like I feel like I went against his nut draw both times.
Okay.
And this was the match where I was like, I feel like I kept a reasonable opening hand, and it just didn't pan out, right? I died to 11 poison counters in the second game, which was poetic because I had just killed someone with 11 poison counters, right? So I was like, all right, we'll take it. And that was that. So I was now 1 match win and 2 match losses.
So, but to reiterate, you felt like the hands you kept were okay.
Yeah,
but it was just that the draws that came out weren't as
conducive. The subsequent cards that were drawn. Okay. And feeling like when I don't have big score on 4, and your opponent does when they're playing the mirror, it felt like
feels like you're behind. Yeah,
and also like he just had a couple killer duresses, man.
Okay.
Just duresses that hit so hard, and then when I duressed him out of a sideboarded match, I looked at his hand and I was like, man, this hand is like duress proof. It's like, what do I take here?
In the game. Yeah. I love duress.
So he took that. I think he ended up going to the finals. So, and actually, what I didn't realize was we played 5 matches, and then the people that were involved in, I think, the top 4, they had to go play more matches after that.
Yeah, it filters down. Yep.
5 matches was over 5 hours of playing, and man, that was a slog. I was mentally done.
Wait till you get to a pro tour. It's 2 days.
2 days and like sometimes 12 or 10 rounds a day or 8.
So I think first day is draft, and draft is 9 or 10 rounds.
Yeah.
And then second day is whatever standard or modern.
That shit's the real stank.
Oh yeah.
That shit, you're literally like, you're going into it. It really is like nothing but pure athletic. All that card flipping. All that sweating.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about sweat. Okay, Shout out to the Saskatoon Inn and Conference Center. Oh my God, that venue's beautiful.
Honestly,
I'm going to
we
put out
had
a
great
video.
time.
Yeah, I shot a bunch of video. The place is gorgeous. The event halls, the face-to-face guys were like, yeah, man, last time we did an event here, it was very, very warm in this room, and I'm hoping it's not going to be like that this time. It was.
It was muggy.
Ooh, it was tough because like we were trying to like wear the Rogues Passage hoodies to represent, and like after game one, every time just like stripping it off, like, and because like when you're sitting there, like I was fine as long as I wasn't playing a match, but the minute you're playing a match, it's like there's a literal campfire in your brain. Like it's like this furnace.
Auto
Everybody's
sweat.
like running hot because you're trying to think and like stressed and nervous, and holy yeah, there was some heat in there. So round 4, I went up against no, that's oh my god, I gotta friggin' learn how to where. Okay, hold on. This was where was I? That was the round 1. Round 2, I gotta flip
Your
this
mirror
page.
match. Yeah.
Yeah. Round 3 was Rakdos. Similar. Round 4 would be here. This is, you said that you are building this deck currently for standard, the mono or blue and green artifacts.
That's the one.
It's sort of, is it a tempo or aggro strategy?
It's a Simic aggro deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
This deck was cool. This guy I played against was John. Again, I had a couple little blunders in this one that I felt like very much. I felt like the match was so even. The games were awesome, and I felt like I lost because of the edges of my lack of piloting skill.
Okay.
This deck is so cool. It utilizes blue flyers. What is the worm tooth or whatever this green creature?
Yeah.
Like their artifact synergies between the creatures, but also this surge engine.
Oh yeah, Surge Engine and then the Schooner as well.
Yeah,
so
the
the
Schooner-
schooner allows you to explore. There's no better 2-drop in the format than the Schooner.
Dude, but surge engine was okay. This is a does it cost 3 or 2?
It's 2 mana.
Yeah, two colorless for an artifact.
Yeah.
And then it has level up abilities. It has 1 blue to change it into something. It has 2 blue to change it into the next thing, and then 3 blue to. And I think the second option is this just can't be blocked, and it's just gonna beat you to the dead.
That's the first option actually.
Oh, the first option can't be blocked.
It's a defender to begin with,
Yeah.
and then the first ability loses defender and can't be blocked. Second makes it a 5/4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and then the third option allows you to draw 2 cards. So
yeah, great creature, and go for the throat. Not great against an artifact deck. Destroy target non-artifact creature.
hey, at least you know what to sideboard out. It's easy sideboard.
You know what though? Like, so I will comment, and you're probably gonna give me shit for this. I went to sideboarding. I took out 2 go for the throats and left 2 in.
And how come?
Because there was because of the other creatures, right? It wasn't strictly an artifact deck, and I was like, man, it's still a good rate to kill one of the other mono blue flyers or whatever. That was my thinking at the time.
Okay.
It was definitely probably wrong because I on 2 of my matches had to go for the throat in my hand that was dead, and I didn't die to Surge Engine. I died to the Raging or Restless Ravine. Is it the Simic creature land?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Like I got to commanding positions, get a tally down, flip a whole bunch of things, and then they're like, okay, I animate my land and it's a 5/4 or whatever, or a 5/5, and I turn your tally into a 3/3. You want to block? It's like, no, I don't. Okay, like I never had the 7/7 to block with.
Yeah.
Right? My 7/7 that I had invested in getting out there was always completely nullified by this creature land. And I was like, man, that is so good. And then there was one, I decided to Feel the Ruin one of them, and he was like, okay. And like I did that because I was like, I can't get hit by that next turn.
Oh yeah.
And then he untapped his lands, and there was another one under one of his other lands that I just was not aware of. It was there. I could have really looked, but there was another one, and it was like, okay, I lost that game. And then I believe in the very last game, this was the only match that I had that went to time.
Okay.
So then we had the judge sitting next to us, basically counting our turns and analyzing our actions, and I got my first warning because I untapped and I made a game action without removing a counter from an Archfiend of the Draws, which is a detrimental trigger, right?
Yes.
You have to remove the trigger or you have to remove the counter every upkeep, and if you don't, it could be seen as cheating because if you remove the last counter, you lose the game, right?
Yeah.
So I got a stern scolding for not removing that counter, and I was like, okay. Basically, they have to give you the rigmarole, right? They're like, if you do this 3 times, you're ejected from the tournament. And I was like, okay, no, I'm good. But that tilted me so much. I was so focused on making sure that this counter came off the Archfiend every round that I was like leaking in all of my other decision-making aspects.
And I mean, that's where the reps of the deck come in, right?
Yeah.
A lot of those things, removing those counters, or not missing any of your discover triggers, or sorry, any of the tally triggers, those come just with the muscle memory of playing the deck, Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I remember in our last podcast when I was asking you about like the Archfiend, I was like, how worried are you about dying to the Archfiend? It really didn't come up.
Never.
I don't think I ever, like, when you play an Archfiend, I think I normally played one and then maybe played a second. And I was just like, look, I'm going to have 12 power in the air. Like, we're getting, like, I'm wrathing your board with you trying to block, or I'm getting it done. And that's how it panned out. It's a 4-mana 6/6 flyer. Like, it just does its thing. I didn't ever get, I only got one of the death triggers, like the life loss trigger from creatures dying.
Okay.
From Archfiend.
Okay.
I never got to get that cool pop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just me missing it. I'm pretty sure I never really had it, though.
Well, it's very situational, just based off the matchups.
There's a nuance to that.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like you played in against any go wide decks. So
round 5.
Oh.
So round 5 was against Jesse. He was actually a Calgarian, and I guess he plays over at the Bonus Arts place. And
which shout out to y'all. We'll be, I dare say, encroaching on your territory soon.
Yeah. No, well, also they're hosting. I think I invited.
Shifting, shall we say?
I think I invited you, Rocky. They're doing a standard qualifier on the March 2nd.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Definitely going.
Yep.
I played against Jesse. Boros Humans.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
That was a deck that I felt like I was like, especially after game 1.
Yeah, you definitely should win that.
Because of the sweepers, right?
Yeah.
So game 1, I just I didn't do anything. I just got beaten. Like, he had the nut, absolute nut, and it was like turn 4 kill, and I was like,
dang,
that deck's fast.
Yeah.
So I sided in like, what I felt. I can't remember what I sideboarded for that match, but I know I had all of my sweepers, and I sided in hope. There was hope. I sided in.
Bring in Keanu Reeves.
What? So win. I went down to 8. Oh yeah, he scooped the second game because I think I did 4 sweepers.
Yeah.
In a row, and like he rebuilt 4 times, and then when I played another sweeper and sweep them all, and like all of my sweepers hit everything.
Yep.
Like they all just died over and over, and he was like.
5 damage, 5 damage.
Even the Brotherhoods and the 3 damage. Yeah. After a while of going wide and having them swept, you're like, this isn't fun anymore.
Like even the guy rocking the Atraxa Grand Unifier, he screwed me over with. I was like, yeah, I'll grab it. The first time I could summon my commander, Shieldred's Edict. I was like, oh man, what a way.
Yikes.
Oh god.
Yeah, so that second game, I just like it was basically like I got my teeth kicked in, and then I kicked his teeth in, and then the next one we were both down to like 5 life. And I was able to like
bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, and it was it didn't go to time, but it was real close, and it was just a great game. And we ended up, him and I both finished 2 wins, 3 losses.
Okay.
Which I mean,
so that means that you won that game.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I won this one. I won. And you know what? I talked with in the post game interview. You'll see a video right here in slow motion. The video that we did in the hotel room. That was supposed to be the breakdown. We recorded accidentally in slow-mo with no audio.
It's okay. I was like, okay, who wants to sit on it? We were literally so drained.
Oh yeah, we were.
That day we started hungover. We were like,
Oh yeah, we were up to like 2:30 or 3 in the hotel room
on cheap wine and sake.
It was a
classic rogue shenanigans.
It was great. But yeah, like I was talking with these guys in that other post-game interview. I was like, man, my vibe would have been drastically different on a 1-4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A 2-3, I was like, hell yeah, I won 40% of my matches.
Yeah.
I made money and got my promos that I wanted. Right? Like I think I got, it was a $30 entry fee. I won $50 in tickets, and I think the 2 promos are worth about $50.
Okay.
Or 40 maybe. I think they're both like 15 or 20 each.
You get such good value out of those. Yeah, you get such good value out of face-to-face, hey?
The face-to-face, shout out to you guys. If I had lost every match I did and won no prize tickets, the promos would have been profit.
Yeah.
So, like, you guys are amazing. And I know that it's like, Wizards is the one just being like, here, we'll give you all these boxes of promos, just get people playing our game.
Yeah.
Because, you definitely get my money in other ways. That actually segues wonderfully. I want to talk about Secret Lairs after this because we just purchased another one last night.
You mean
spicy?
Well, Brandon and I went in on one that
I was
that is
sleeping.
Yeah, you were sleeping. It wasn't crazy expensive, right? Like, I think in our Canadian rubles, I spent $25. But is there actually, before we get into that, and I know you said you had some things to say about Secret Lair too. Yeah. Is there anything you want to say, or I'm sure you.
Why don't you lead this conversation?
Yeah. So what do you think about Chandra? Were you able to get Chandra out at all?
I know you asked me that. You were like, did you get the fabled double cast, like the copied instant sorcery?
Yeah.
I did. I got to cast Chandra, and then the next turn, double cast a breach the multiverse.
And isn't that the best feeling in the world? Isn't it the best? Mill 20, get 4 creatures.
Yeah.
It's just it's so satisfying.
Actually, I believe that happened in the Boros Humans one. That was why he scooped, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing was I ended up casting one of his creatures that had an adventure spell, and the adventure spell was create 2/2/2 white knights with vigilance.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm like, man, do you have those tokens? He's like, I don't have those tokens. And it was funny because the Zaximus treasure tokens I have, I was like, wait, and I turned them over. It's a 2/2 knight with vigilance. I was like, sick. There's 2 of them. And it was just like it was a funny moment. And he was like, yeah, okay, that's it.
That's enough.
I remember saying, I was like, it was the knight tokens, wasn't it? And he's like, yeah. No, it was the knight tokens, not the 4 other creatures or spells. But it was, that felt real good. I think that was the only super flashy thing that I did. But like, playing an Archfiend on 4 feels good because it's a 6/6 flyer on 4, and you put a real clock down.
You demand them to come back and have an answer for it. Yeah,
very often when I did that, it was an immediate removal spell, and it was cool.
You have to.
Other than that, like, it was an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for entrusting me to take one of your expensive decks province wide.
Of course, and I hope that's the deck that you play as well on the second. And hope you play that in Edmonton.
Wait, what are you playing on?
I'll be playing my Simic deck. So I'm retiring that deck for myself.
Okay.
I think that it's a fantastic deck. As we saw, you said it went top 4.
Yes.
So I've got my play out of it, and it just doesn't hit the same for me anymore. You can only play Chandra so many times, and double cast a spell before I'm
starting to feel old.
Yeah, the dopamine hit starts to go away.
I don't even know what that means anymore. Dopa what?
Dopa what?
Serotonin who?
Yeah. So
respects.
Knowing that's an option is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I really kind of want. I know you mentioned like the deck that I really want to play is the mono blue tempo.
Yeah.
I want to be casting some Haughty Djinns with some March of Swirling Mist.
Yeah.
That's the life I want to live. And
so that brings me to my next question then. So you guys got some Cavern of Souls and put that in.
Yes, we did.
And what did you think? What did you think about that?
So that's one thing I wanted to bring up. Thank you for remembering.
Both my Shouldreds. I contributed 2 Shouldreds and 2 Cavern of Souls.
Yep, Brady helped me.
And I
flesh
sweated.
out
I was like, after that podcast, I was like, I was about to go to bed, and then like the OCD took over, and I was like, you know what? If I don't find those cards right now, I'm not finding them at all. I know that because we're like literally in the process of moving.
Packing.
I'm like, it has to be now. So I lost some sleep over it, but no, it was worth it. It was great.
Yeah. So I put Cavern of Souls in the deck. I don't know if there was any deck that I played against that it really mattered.
No, you did bring this up.
No, because I didn't play against any. No, that's not true.
made it more of an impact.
That's not true. My round 4 match was against the Simic deck. Okay. Simic deck definitely played some counter spells.
Some counter spells, but probably very few.
Yeah,
very few.
I don't know if I had a notable situation where I felt like it was relevant.
Yeah, so that's what I'm curious about is how the meta shifted and how much blue is in the meta now that Cavern of Souls is out.
Yeah, so I only played against one deck that had blue in it.
Yeah.
And I saw, you know what I saw? There was a dude.
The strongest in Merfolk, I think, right?
What? No,
Merfolk right now is stupid.
Cavern of Souls, well, what? Yeah, what?
Especially with Ixalan. It just got reprinted. Ixalan and Merfolk right now are busting ass.
Well, it's also
because of it.
Atraxa too, right? Like you want to resolve your Atraxa.
Phyrexians or that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Um,
Especially Phyrexians.
There was one player at the table playing the Bant Toxic deck.
Yeah.
Oh.
That deck is so cool. It is so cool.
Yeah.
Like
Love you.
just scuttle in there with some Skrelvs and Venerated Rot Briefs.
So just keep in mind that Brotherhood's End says each, and Burn Down the House says each, not target.
Yeah.
So if you play
Right.
that deck, that deck really doesn't hit against you.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's the cool part. Yeah.
Sick. Okay. Yeah. So I do want to put together this mono blue deck because I know like I would like to, in contrast to this experience, play a deck that might not be as tier, but is something I have a ton of reps with.
Yeah.
Because I want to see whether or not I have a better experience with my play, with my piloting of the deck.
Okay.
Although I will say I have not played with Haughty Djinn in paper, and cost reducing on instance is going to be a nightmare. I know that when you play on Arena, it just removes the generic mana cost from the card in your hand. It augments what that card costs and shows you exactly what it costs. If
Are
you
you saying that every Magic player doesn't automatically do that themselves?
oh my god,
That's unfortunate.
you have to do math in real life.
Ugh.
You literally have to do math.
Hey, if it
Sorry,
makes you
being
feel
a
any better,
troll.
you gotta.
It sucks. Magic's hard, boys and girls. Theys and thems. Yeah, no, it sucks. It's hard.
At least
a lot of
you've got 3 judge warnings before. so you,
Yeah,
so
I
you have
used-
3
I got-
times. You have 3 times to screw up.
I
I'm
got
waiting
two.
for
I got
Arena
two
to have like a moment. You know.
Yeah. So it was awesome. I got prize tickets that I used on a frivolous purchase with my boys here.
Frivolous.
We did. We bought an
I will
oversized
slap
demonic
you right
tutor.
now. That is not frivolous.
No,
it
it
was
was
defining.
It is,
Character, growth, all of it. No, everything.
It's an investment into the luster of the studio. Right?
I wish Brandon was here for this because we would have to include, like, we really did want to start this channel, the two of us together originally. You're Brando for now. As the demonic tutors, and then some prat on Twitter already had the name. We were like, you know what, that doesn't.
some prat.
Yeah, he was a prat. I don't give a shit. He's just singular. Just one dude as the tutors. No, we were upset. So then, obviously, as things were already kind of going on, blah blah blah. Long story short, Tanner was actually the figurehead who spearheaded the Rogue's Passage name and all this other stuff that we adopted. Yes, all that stuff behind us. The demonic tutor card in and of itself was super symbolic to us. So we really it was, and the fact, and I think we can bring this up. We were kind of unintentionally assholes in acquiring it.
Oh, unintentionally, completely. So we Kelly, the event coordinator for Face-to-Face Games. So we ended up going to the desk
As proper rogues about it.
Our plan was to go down right in the morning. We were like, we got to snag that because it's gonna get like one of them is gonna be available to choose for the modern qualifier winner, and I think the standard qualifier winner can choose one as well. And it was like, if we want the demonic tutor specifically, we just have to get it right away before someone else even just buys
the
it.
plan.
So we go down in the morning. We don't.
We don't. We were
I
hungover.
played 5 hours of my standard qualifier, and then after I'm like, we gotta go to the hotel room. We gotta get the money. We gotta come down. We gotta grab this thing. We come down. We grab it. We take it to the desk. I literally I grabbed a wad of loonies and toonies before I left the house.
Oh, it was
just
trashy.
for comedic
It was
value.
not romantic.
Comedic value. I poured it on the table, and I'm
Pile
like,
of change.
this.
No, there was a lot of this. Like all of us at once. Like, is this
literally
okay?
give me the rock. I put down $87 worth of friggin' loonies and toonies. I put down $50 worth of prize tickets, and I'm like, that's my
Brandon
share.
exuded his soul from his pores.
Yeah.
I was just like, in the background. It was bad.
So we purchased the thing, right? We get a photo with it. Little right here on the screen, you'll see the photo. We got the thing. We slayed the dragon. We went back up to the hotel room. We had a great time, and then afterwards, we're like, the event ended, and we're hitting up the Commander Cookout guys. Shout out to Ryan and Brando. And they're like, yeah, no, we've been at Birmingham's for an hour. You should come down here. And we're like, oh, shit. So we go down to the lobby, and we see the Face-to-Face crew. And Kelly...
They were actually literally departing at the same time.
Yeah, they were getting in an Uber to go to the
we're
same
just
place.
about to go in, and then we're like, we brought up like, by the way, the demonic tutor, and then...
Yeah, no, Kelly looks at me, like, he looked at us, and he was like, you guys got us in so much shit. And we're like, what did we do? And he was like, that demonic tutor was already sold. or at
Well,
least reserved. It was reserved.
It was reserved.
Somebody
yeah.
had reserved, and they were going to go up and get their money to come get it, and then we swooped in and talked to somebody else and bought it. That didn't know.
Now I want to step in on this. Poor Buddy could not stand all three of us at once. Okay, he had no chance. He had no chance. Okay, the rogues en masse, triple threat.
Hungover rogues
stood no chance.
Yeah, so we went home with the prize.
But they were super cool about it, and I hope to reach out to this guy who really did want the demonic tutor.
Well, yeah, we don't know who it is, but
we don't. But I want to personally.
If you find yourself to our channel and see this, I'm sorry. We did not mean it at all.
Reach out. Maybe we'll have you down for a game or two. Whatever. Let's make this a thing. We do apologize. This was not intentional. We showed up, charmed the pants off of the staff. They sold us the tutor.
I mean, we
before
really did.
you. We did. No, we did. We are sorry. So please let us apologize by giving you agency to come here and talk about it.
So, I guess I was going to say ceremonially, I will return this deck to you. But are you saying? Well, no, I should return it to you, and then if I think I want to play this.
Of course, yeah. You're always welcome to play it.
Yeah,
just always got to reach out. But I guess it is kind of funny how the
I'm
new
not sure if you know,
display
the
card.
children's are not in there.
I was really hoping those get left in there. So you leave the tokens,
you
but
the
not
tokens.
the children. Hey,
Yeah, fuck yourself. No.
So it is funny because I got you to buy me an Agatha Soul Cauldron. So this is kind of
I offered to split my winnings.
Yeah, this is the showcase card for the next deck. So
nice.
Yeah, that does kind of is symbolic in a sense too. Yeah.
No, we put work into it for you for sure.
Of course,
It was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you're a happy pilot.
It was the meat and
Yeah.
juice of the project for us in a lot of ways. Yeah, sure, we're going to Saskatoon to have a very important time out there with the three of us, but at the end of the day, Tanner didn't have a car if he didn't have that, so...
Yeah, it was. I'm really loving doing this Hero's Journey thing, and I'm going to continue doing it. Like, we're going to go to Edmonton in March 23rd. I think it says Modern and Pioneer.
I hope not, because I'm also going to play Standard.
Well, it's probably Standard as well, but I think the main event.
Okay.
Or main events. I'm talking out of my ass. I don't really know. I briefly saw. You kind of have to pick one though, right? You can't really compete in multiple of the events because they take up most of the day.
Yeah.
Are you going to come up to Edmonton?
I am. Yeah. I will be there. I'll be there playing Standard. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess we'll wrap. I mean, the talk on Face to Face. It was an amazing event. We shot a bunch of video. I'm going to publish another vlog video.
I have 5 minutes. I actually want to contribute to the Face to Face event. It does concern the Commander Cookout boys. Absolutely love them. They were amazing. They charmed the pants off of me. Ryan was a rock star. Brando is a savant. I have to give both incredible kudos to both. Ryan really showcased what I want to exude for this project going forward, which is incredible confidence. And Brando, thank you so much for schooling me on my own deck. I am still livid with myself not knowing how Kodama and Sakushima work together. And thank you.
And he gave you some pretty cool custom
Honestly,
CCO dice, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I remember Brandon being no, those were my dice of embarrassment. No. That was that game that gave them to me. Those are mine. Okay, and that was my embarrassment. Those are my dice of shame.
Yeah, Ryan and Brando, I really want to play a game with you one day. I didn't realize how much time competing in the standard event was going to take up. Thanks for you guys holding the fort with networking with the other
Brando
homies.
would be here right now explaining just how crazy some of the games they had with Brando himself. There was it was Brando squared.
We both got a Brando.
We have to come back to this. There's some really fun stuff there, especially. And then we ended up hanging out with in Birmingham's Vodka and Beer House afterwards.
Yeah,
and
it's
honestly,
apparently the Saskatoon ritual after the events there.
Because honestly, one of Ryan's quotations, I had to post it recently on an Instagram post, but we are only as strong as the sum of our parts, and that has now literally clung to my heart ever since you sung it. So
yeah,
thank you.
Shout out, Commander Cookout.
Commander Cookout.
Saskatoon is their home.
Stoked to cook for y'all's.
Yeah. So yeah, let's segue over into the Secret Lair thing because our Brando and we were just chatting on Discord last night, and I was telling him about this blunder that Wizards made just recently.
While I slept.
Yeah, while you slept. And we decided to snap off this secret lair because I'm pretty sure it'll appreciate in value, but also it's a really cool wall hanger.
Playing a little bit of Cardboard Futures.
Yes,
I like
Cardboard
it.
Futures.
I
Yes.
like it.
So, I'm sure you heard of how many people they laid off, right?
Yeah.
Like Hasbro was like, Wizards, I know you're
One
making
too
us
many.
more money than any other property. You're literally our biggest earner, but we're doing layoffs and you gotta take the punches. And it was really weird. So they laid off like 1,000 people, or no, it wasn't. It was 1,000 I think total. Hasbro.
Yeah,
But I can't remember how many got
Yeah.
hit on Wizards of the Coast. But it was like, man, like Paul Cheon got laid off. Like the people in charge of the program where they would like distribute accounts for streamers and Twitch, like YouTube creators, to do like an early access event to like showcase.
1,100.
Yeah, 1,100 layoffs.
That is
Jeez.
insane.
But
Insane.
Anyway,
that is 1,100 people.
yeah. So the spoils of this, what happens when you lay off a whole bunch of people and you turn a company that relied on that many people into everybody else just has to do extra work. You get secret layers that are printed. I guess actually, is your tablet handy? Do you want to bring it up so that you guys can look at it?
We just look at it here.
Yeah. So it's I think it's called the Deceptive Divination secret layer. Okay. They're kind of beautiful. They're like monochrome silver backgrounds with like black text. They're very like they're very artsy. There's one for each color, and they decided that they wanted to print. Yeah, so it's the one in the middle there. What is it? Circular Logic.
Oh wow. Okay.
Circular Logic is a counterspell.
Black and white.
They're getting too. They're getting too abstract with
Right,
this. And
but-
I'm gonna jump right now. They're
But the
getting
blunder
way too
here
abstract.
is that they somehow the artist printed or drew Circular Logic as a sorcery when it is actually an instant. Counterspells don't work like that.
That
It's not
misprint
quite-
is going to go through the roof in value.
It's
Wow.
yes,
But
but,
I wanna-
it's not quite as bad as the freaking Jurassic Park.
No, the Jurassic Park ones, yeah,
That one is still worse.
Pretty egregious. But the cool thing about this Circular Logic
Hi,
is that
baby.
Oh, look at the foil.
they have changed secret layers to no longer be print to demand. They're now print ahead of time. The limited stock, you have to jump on it as quick as possible. That means that motherfucker's printed. They can't do anything about that. So we snapped it off last night. We were like, I want one for the wall, and
Okay.
it comes with the black one in the package is a Scheming Symmetry.
And did you get the foil or not?
Yeah, we got the foil.
Oh, fantastic! Look
Yeah.
at them in foil.
I know. I think
The
they're going to look
treatment
very
is
pretty.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put them up on the screen here for the
Yeah.
YouTube viewers. They're very pretty, and I think that like as much as I'd like to put those cards in a deck, they're way better as a wall piece.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And because that Circular Logic is one of the funniest blunders of misprints. You can't. There's no such thing as a sorcery speed counterspell.
Yeah.
Actually, I think.
Secret
I
layers?
think maybe there might be one, but like I don't understand how that works.
I don't even know how
I think
it works.
I think some secret layers. Frankly, I think secret layer. Whoever is managing secret layer as a whole needs to
Mr.
calm the
Lair.
fuck down.
No.
No.
I think they're doing good, but
Well, here let me make my point.
well, okay, subjective. I'll use my eyes
Subjective.
statements.
I do appreciate the level of potential self-personalized customization that you can attribute your into your deck. Yes,
Yeah.
I like this art. I want this to signify my deck, my deck entirely, or something. Like, oh, I'm gonna have secret layers of this or that. Things like this, I did not get into Magic the Gathering in any capacity because it's basically just some kind of cookie cutter tattoo design.
But Brady, you don't like the art style? Every single one of those cards you can get in the regular art style. Or
I can also
like,
see that it's at every single tattoo parlor I've ever been to. That's my issue.
Dude, the Circular Logic is dope though. It's like Ouroboros. Like
Yeah, I can appreciate it. If this wasn't Magic the Gathering, 100%, I appreciate it. But because it's Magic the Gathering, this is not the 9-year-old in any capacity saying that I like this.
I don't understand. You bought the Tales of the Time Stoppers one.
I did. And ironically,
I'll put that one on screen here. It's
100% right here.
similarly as abstract.
Yeah.
And now I'm not using them.
Are you not using them because you're afraid you'll damage them, or
No, frankly, I just they're not Magic to me.
okay?
Weird,
But
I'm not playing poker.
But is
You know, I'm
Optimus
not playing-
Prime magic? Is Lord of the Rings magic?
See, that's a great debate.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's the art. The art is the silver lining in which dictates the fantasy realm in my mind.
Right. Okay.
I am not playing Magic the Gathering because the fantasy art, the mind palace that I have for my inner Yu-Gi-Oh arena is not dictated by art like
All right,
this.
I have something I want to say about this. The secret layers to me are there's no wrong being done because they're not forcing you to change your cards to this style.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like,
There's no right or
You can
wrong.
play with the version that you like. There's no reason to go over into the next room and shout at someone else for what art they like.
And you're not wrong.
Right?
I still think
you don't
my
have to buy
Magic, my relationship to Magic is dependent on the world that the art creates. That
Okay,
makes
yeah.
sense?
So
I don't want to
that's-
play Uno.
Yeah, those
This
are
is
not
Uno.
fantasy art. They're not.
This
like,
is just cool. This is cool alternatives.
right.
This is trying to meet the demographic of people who largely play poker.
But the thing
You
is,
know,
the
they're
cool
used
thing
to
about Secret Lair
their
is that
queens and kings and
they make
jacks.
these on the side and offer them to the people that may want them. There's no wrong being done.
Which I
right?
also agree with. But I can't. For me personally, this isn't why. Like I had to ask myself, this isn't why I got into the game. I got into the game because the art, the ability, the mechanic, the set, inspiration, is what sold it to me. Not because of some abstract, simple tattoo design.
So I challenge you to take the same line of thought and change all those words you used for, or
I like this.
I didn't get into
Mad
Magic
Libs.
for the spirit of playing Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime doesn't belong,
Here's the
or
thing.
Lord of the Rings doesn't belong.
I feel like Lord
So-
of the Rings is
Right.
a very
here's
easy
here's
sell.
now
right?
here's where I love this nuance because for me personally, Magic the Gathering is all about planeswalking, and
Right.
if there's anything that I've ever appreciated, and this is a shout out to Rooster Teeth specifically, the people behind Death Battle, I want this dynamic.
Me too.
I
love
personally,
it.
I want
love
to
it.
make a deck. I would love to make a commander with Venom.
I want to. I
Marvel.
want to see Frodo
want-
riding.
And you will.
a
They
dragon.
did announce that they're going to be doing Marvel.
You know,
right?
I want to make, hopefully, please, Condiment Man, DC Universe.
Condiment Man.
Oh,
What?
baby, Condiment Man.
Wait,
Look
no,
at my
DC
ass.
Universe is not Marvel, right?
No. We're
the-
talking
no.
DC. Condiment Man. He squirts lethal amounts of ketchup and mustard.
Wow.
Oh,
Do you have his
Please.
phone number?
I do.
Yo, so I actually want to say that in the design.
But that's what I said. But that's my pace. That's my case. Like Spawn, I'm a huge Todd McFarlane fan. Yes, I want this. Frankly, I want this. The Godzilla. At first, I will be the first to call myself out for being like, no, this isn't Magic. And then I thought about it. I thought back to my cousin's take on the MCU versus the original comic content comparison. No, why would you gatekeep? Why should you gatekeep?
Wait, what do you mean? Who's gatekeeping?
Are you saying gatekeep against entering different worlds and
Different
entering
worlds,
different
yes.
universes?
Different
So-
universes. Magic is a brilliant mechanic. Sure, yes, you can dilute the system with new, different. Let's say there's a. Remember Monstrosity? What did they do to Monstrosity again? It was like a
Mega
megamorph.
Monster or whatever?
It was a megamorph. Why? Avoiding that.
So sorry if
But-
I'm going off on a little tangent, but
No, I love
but
tangents.
No,
what
this makes
what
sense.
color is your favorite car?
Me?
Yeah, what color is your
love this.
favorite car?
Blood red.
Blood red. So what if I were to tell you that how
black
dare
trim,
how
with black
dare
trim.
they make red with black trim cars? It's not in the spirit of what Ford Motors was saying.
No. See, here's
Right,
the thing.
but that's the problem is or not the problem, but I think that's why Magic creates so many different art pieces. Is so that
I hear you.
for players they can look at a card and they can find the art that speaks to them. Art is very
now
subjective.
I'm hearing you. Now
Yeah.
I'm hearing
Art
you.
is
about-
very
Art is
subjective.
subjective.
We're talking about objective
But this
versus
is why,
subjective.
this is why, like when I brought into it, I'm like, yes, like this is not my Magic. This is not the 9-year-old me being like, okay, I agree with you. No, this is the 34-year-old being like, I hear what you're saying. The 9-year-old in me who bought his first freaking booster pack, who got to look at a Desolation Angel, not know what the fuck he was looking at, and then became to worship Braun, says no. However, no, you're not wrong. Literally, this game in its a capacity for infinite approach, and I mean like anything. You want to make a dogs and cats? Let's screw power levels.
Yep.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm now coming from. Like, yes, I want to play with Darkseid. I want to play with Venom. I want to play with Squall. I want to freaking, I would make a Sonic deck.
Oh god.
Yes, I would.
Final Fantasy
I would
is
love
coming.
that.
Magic the
Oh.
Gathering's pure premise, its concept alone of, like even just recently on one of Death Battle's videos I just watched, Spawn has been able to make its way into the meta of the Archie comic universe
Yeah, you mentioned this. Like, what? I'd love to know
the
a
Archie
source
comic
for this.
universe.
No, the fact that Spawn somehow is like in or Archie.
I would just
that there's like a crossover between Spawn and the Archie comics.
Yes, there is, and it's
Yeah,
because of Sonic.
I want to look into this. Oh, it's
Yeah,
because
no.
of Sonic. That's an even
What?
weird tangent.
That-
It's
is
not because of
weird.
Archie
That's
Comics.
wild.
Archie Comics owns
The universe.
Sonic.
Oh, okay. I see.
Oh.
I thought you meant that they entered the Archie world. I was
No,
like,
no,
I was like,
no.
Spawn,
It's
like,
weirder than
Betty.
that.
That's the same
Archie
thing. That's,
owns Sonic.
that's the same thing as saying
That.
Great.
Yeah.
That's the same thing as saying that the fucking alien queen is now a Disney princess because of the ownership of the studios. Like,
Hey, no, that.
I'm sorry.
Tanner, I'm sorry. This is debatable. This is debatable. No, this is debatable. This is where the world is going. Let's say, as an example, Disney buys Dark Horse. Because where's your point now? It is the queen would then simply become a Disney princess. That's as simple as it is. And that is the world that we're now living. So because of that, I think purely, and back to my point,
Yep.
Magic is the perfect meta tool to include this. Now, this is the child that hated Kingdom Hearts, but now it makes sense to me because I love it.
what are
Because
you talking
I
about?
love
That
it.
game sucks. That one's for you, Callie.
Listen, I can cry over here the entire time.
Oh my god!
I just inflamed. There's an angry mob about to pull the plug here.
Yeah.
I used to be. I remember the 14-year-old me was red in the face, but like, no, they did not just put freaking Final Fantasy and Disney together. No, it makes sense. To this day, now like Warhammer. Yes, I want to see the freaking Phyrexians fight with Tyranids.
Yeah.
100%.
I will
Death
say-
Battle. Death Battle is actually the
I
reason
will
why
say
I'm
that
obsessed with this notion.
Warhammer and Lord of the Rings were like the best fit, I think, for Universes
yeah.
Beyond.
And Dungeons and Dragons.
People were pissed about when Lord of the Rings was announced, right? And
And then they saw
people
the
people
set.
were like, "What are we gonna play against mono white Gandalf? You know, Gandalf aggro?" And it's like, dude, what? As if you've never played against a white wizard in your game before, right? Like,
Oh no.
orcs and goblins and elves and magic. And, like, this is like, it's not a stretch, guys. Lord of the Rings was the perfect fit. Warhammer
Lord of the Rings
was a little more like, we actually said this on one of our previous podcasts. Well, magic strays away from
Interestingly,
guns
they did
a
Warhammer
little.
before Lord of the Rings, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah, no, they totally did. Yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't the same rollout, right? Warhammer was, here's some commander decks. Lord of the Rings was, here's a modern legal draftable
Set.
full
Oh,
set,
yeah.
and then
They
like
should
a
have done that
multiple
for Warhammer.
variation
They should
printing,
have.
the most expensive,
I
highly coveted magic card ever
Oh,
printed in the
yeah.
world.
I wanted more
ever.
Tyranids. I wanted more Necrons. Oh man, Necrons. Sorry, I love saying Necron.
And I will say,
Necron.
and I'm going to point out, my wife over here watching, Final Fantasy Universes Beyond is coming. I think it's early 2025.
That's
Cry.
that's
We're
a while
buying- I'm
away.
buying
We
2
still have
boxes.
Fallout to come first.
yeah, Fallout.
We're buying 8 boxes.
No, actually, I think I've said this before. I think the Final Fantasy set might be the first time that I ever want to collect a full set.
Okay.
I don't want to collect a foil set. That's insane. But I think I might actually collect a binder, do a binder.
I mean,
it's easier to do than you
I would
think.
agree with you,
Yeah.
but I personally died inside when I couldn't do anything about all of the one. I am right now even on my Gix mat. Like I am so
You on your gicks.
I am so up the butt of Phyrexian pooty. Like, I am so pro Phyrexia. It just kills me. So this time I will not fail myself. No, I am buying as much as I can from one of the most influential RPGs of my entire existence.
It's gonna be so sick. I will say again. I will restate.
Outside of Chrono Cross.
I'm really hoping that the showcase frame for the Final Fantasy cards, like the alt art showcase frame, is the Final Fantasy VII like blue menus with the 8-bit text. I really hope that's what they do. Can
I
you
can't wait to
imagine
see how
a
Cloud
magic
looks.
card with that look.
Callie's just like, oh,
yeah.
yes, please. Yes, please.
If they don't do it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Make your own boxes.
Make my own proxy.
You know what?
Or
They
you can modify them.
with the blue.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Dude,
bet
Final
you
Fantasy is going to be that's I mean, I know it's definitely more so like my wife's obsession, but I have been very like magnetic to that obsession. And
Even
I,
at
like,
day
I'm-
night with Tifa, have you? That's all it takes, baby.
No, yeah, she
Baby.
has a wicked Riku cosplay. So
Fuck Aerith. No, we're talking about.
well, I was Aerith. I have an Aerith cosplay.
That's an entirely different story.
Snip a photo.
Yeah, I'll put a photo right here. Of me as Aerith and my wife is Cloud.
Can we just circle back? I think going back to this secret layer drop and your dissatisfaction with it. I think where I draw the line with Magic cards and the modifications they've made is when they become unreadable.
Like the weird psychedelia
the Lord
60s
of the
version?
Rings.
The
crap,
one exception.
Yeah,
The one exception
you can't
is
read them.
Tevesh Zot.
Yeah.
I really want to own Tevesh Zot.
Yeah.
It's more metal.
Yeah, no,
That version's metal.
There
but
was
every
the
other
metal
version,
concert poster one, like I think is Dismember. They're on screen here on YouTube. The metal concert posters were like black metal. Those were sick, but you could still read the
But-
text.
But
you
then,
can
then
read
they
they
came
say,
out like
but
the
then
Saruman and things like that.
yeah,
that
like the
60s,
psychedelic
Galadriel,
ones.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah, and you can't even read what they
Or,
say.
They were
so,
completely
heads.
illegible.
yeah.
They were beautiful. They looked like a Woodstock '69 poster.
I'm not thinking. Okay,
Acid trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not Talking Heads. Who's that really famous crazy group?
the
Not-
Grateful Dead.
The Grateful Dead. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
The Grateful Dead style art approach to the secret layers.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Saruman, I think, is the only one that I would actually care about, but every other one, I'm like,
Yeah, it's crazy how expensive the One Ring is in that type of printing, and I look at it and I'm like, okay, it looks nice as an art piece, as a poster, but as a
Yeah.
card, I can't even read what it does.
I
Yeah.
don't even care now. Yeah, I care more about the what's the one, the serialized Urabrask singular name.
Oh yeah, you got a hard on for this
I really love that
rare
card.
version of your Urabrax.
I really do. No,
It's not a
there's
very playable card, unfortunately, but it's like the version is very.
slap my bro.
Oh,
Wait, this is the one that like you add red.
No,
for-
this is so every time you cast an instant sorcery, you add red and
Yeah.
deal 1 damage to any target. I think it is.
And
Oh,
then
you
if
could-
you
you could build a
cast
deck around
3
that.
or 5,
It's stupid.
you get to flip it or something.
Let's hold on.
yeah.
That's real quick. Every time you cast an instant sorcery, you float red, and I think every time you
Yeah, sorry. The only reason I'm saying that the card wasn't playable is because a lot of people thought that it was going to make its way into some competitive lists, and it didn't do anything.
Right.
It was a flop competitively. It did not become
Yes, it
meta in any way.
This
right?
is what it does. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, Urabrask deals 1 damage to target opponent. Add 1 red.
What's the CMC on that?
4.
Okay,
so
so
it's
that's,
2 red
that's,
pips.
that's
It's a
why.
4-drop that is
so
a
that's why.
storm finisher. right?
Yeah, so that's why.
2 red pip and colorless. That is still ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I play Raonia, and I love breaking red. No, this. I think something like Neheb is still stronger, utilizing damage to literally
Yeah, the head is
throw
nuts.
yourself ahead of the game because you've just added 14 mana to your mana pool because of 1 spell. Yeah, no, there's so much you can do to that. However, for Storm Classic singular 1 at a time, like I love this card and the serialized version.
Oh, yeah. So actually, wait.
Is spectacular.
This is a fantastic segue into something that I want to talk about that's sort of related to Rhystic Studies video
Even
on
secret
foils.
layers of it, yeah.
Well, no, like one of the big discussions in his video is that Urabrask, that serialized Urabrask, the only way to get that art is for the serialized ones. It's a unique, like the serialized version is a completely unique card that you can't get any other way. And Wizards has been kind of scolded and like criticized lately because like when what was the set that came out recently with the Shocklands, the Old Border Shocklands?
Oh, Ravnica Remastered.
Yeah, Ravnica
Yeah.
Remastered. So the Ravnica Remastered Old Border Shocklands. You could get the Old Border Shockland, you could get the Old Border Shockland or Scalding Tarn in foil, and then the Scalding Tarn in foil serialized was just the exact same card with numbers on it.
Yep.
There was nothing really like special about the serialized version. Whereas in Brothers War, they did 500 of each of the artifacts in a special art.
Yep.
With 0 out of 500 or 69 out of 500. That card was like a special version that you can get nowhere else. It was like a masterpiece.
It was like the schematics of it. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It was like the Kaladesh inventions. It was like the Amonkhet invocations.
It was a collector's piece.
But they have now, the criticism of Wizards is that they've diluted the serialized cards to the point where they're not special. They're just serialized.
Yeah.
You're
They're
saying
just numbered.
right
You can
now,
still get that version if you want, that doesn't have a number on it.
That Urbrask isn't special.
No, Urbrask
Urbrask
is. Urbrask is one of those cards that they
special
made
art
it,
card.
They made it very special. They actually made it so special that you can't get it anywhere but the
You
serialized.
fell for my trap card. I just wanted to say it out loud.
You just want me to fluff it out. Yes, it's very beautiful.
It makes sense. No, like literally, especially when it comes to the Phyrexian Praetors specifically. The first time that Magic, I think, literally was criticized for making an overpowered set was the 2006.
It wasn't Urza's Legacy.
No. Well, you know what I mean. Like when they first visited Mirrodin outside of Memnarch, when the Phyrexians were popping off.
Yeah.
When Infect first hit anywhere at all,
Which was Mirrodin?
well, no, it wasn't.
New
It was actually it was
Phyrexia?
back in the 90s.
New
But I'm
Phyrexia,
talking like serialized. I'm failing the word. I keep drinking too much soju here.
Yeah.
Like every other
Lydia,
card
it's
had
a new
Infect.
studio.
Every other card had Infect. We're not talking about Sudakara Assassin or Viper. No, we're talking 2006
Like the
Infect.
whole set.
No, they had to publicly apologize for saying, sorry, we kind of made an oopsie with this set. Kind of like how they did with Kaladesh. Like there was like, oopsies. we didn't theorize this.
Yeah, Kaladesh, and then they held off for a little bit, and then
No,
Throne
100%.
of Eldritch.
I remember that era where they were like they had to apologize in part we oops.
Yeah.
But I think that's the natural progression of things. Even to this day, like with Murders at Karlov Manor, there's a lot of people who are hating on what's going on with some of that. But I frankly think that there is, ever since even New Capenna, you can see and taste and smell that power creep. Holy crap. Giving clues way more power than ever have.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just revamp and also literally abuse morph in a way that's never seen, or even manifest, whatever you want to do. Anything that can abuse face down creatures, including Missy.
Yeah, Missy's great.
Yeah, no, anything that oh man, there's so much to talk about with this new set with Murders at Karlov Manor. Like Voja as an
There's no
example.
time. The next set is being spoiled as you speak. Like, you concentrate on the new set. Concentrate on the new set.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
By the time this comes out,
we have a
that'll
new
be
we have a new Thraben Inspector. It's
Yeah.
just I'm so excited.
Yeah.
There's so many cards out there that I'm just excited
Oh,
about.
speaking of
I'm
fucking
already
Thraben
I'm already
Inspector.
working on my Massacre Girl deck. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, speaking of Thraben Inspector, let's talk some Pauper. We're like
Ooh.
we're at an
I like
hour
this.
13. Let's send off this podcast talking about Pauper.
Okay.
I
think
really
one of the
want
most
to play.
competitive formats in my opinion.
I agree.
I
gonna
just
go there right now.
I
I'm
just
just gonna
about
say
got to play
It is
Pauper.
cutthroat.
I just about got to play some Pauper with you at the second Calgary face-to-face event. We
Almost.
sat down, sleeved up, put the mats out, and then
And
what
then
happened?
I got called for
yeah, your
I
draft
got called
pod
for my
fired.
draft
Yeah.
pod. Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah. So now that we have the new studio, it's not set up. This house is not set up. We're
We
getting
are
there.
getting there. Tanner's being pessimistic. We are.
Yeah,
10%
we're going to
there.
be recording on Sunday here. So
Yeah.
and you down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I'll be
so-
here. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have
I-
some friends. We'll have some friends.
I just sleeved up this Ultratron deck, and I want to know if I'm qualified to run this deck.
With my Cynic Infect.
Yeah,
that'd
the
be
deck
fun.
is definitely smarter than I am, and yeah, maybe we just do maybe shred some 1v1 content,
Nice.
and well, hopefully the internet's working good enough. We'll live stream it as well. Yeah. What has your experience been with Pauper lately? I know that the last couple times I've asked you, you've been like, I'm going down to the store. I'm going to play some Affinity.
So it's crazy with Pauper. I mean, here in Calgary, there is a solid, I would say, 10 to 12 usual suspects, 10 to 12 regulars that come out to all the scene. And even between the 10 to 12, each one of them has 3 to 4 decks with very little overlap. It is absolutely crazy the things that are being brewed right now.
What do you for people out there not educated? What do you mean by overlap? Specifically me.
As in there's not a lot of 2 people playing the same deck
Oh, okay,
or 2
cool,
people
cool.
playing the same build. And even if they are playing the same
So there's
build,
originality.
Yeah.
Literally out there.
yeah,
It's a big pool.
and
It's a big
that's
pool.
the best part is because it's like any common from any set. Of course, minus
Yeah, it's
the
a
banned
legacy
and restricted
format, right?
list. Yeah, it's a legacy format, but only all commons. There's so much for you to brew from, where you have any idea of what style you want to play, and you can build a deck for it.
And
Yeah.
funny enough, like this one that I just put together is like, it's one thing you probably don't think about in Pauper is infinite combos. And It is
Right.
an infinite combo deck with many loops and many different ways to draw your entire deck and throw all your artifacts at someone's face. And
For the ignorance out there, what does infinite mean?
what is it? We're gonna have this discussion at an hour and.
I'm being a
60
troll.
minutes in.
Sorry. You go burr and win.
Could
That's all
you
I mean.
please define infinite? It's like, let me show you.
I'm on my second bottle of soju here. Sorry.
No, so like the cool thing about this Ultratron deck is it uses Mirror Retriever, which is a common. With another card that you're probably familiar with that you probably don't know is a common is Ashnod's Altar. And then Golem Foundry, which is a 3-mana artifact that basically says whenever you cast an artifact, put a counter on me. And then you can take 3 counters off me to create a 3/3 Golem. And Mirror Retriever, Ashnod's Altar, Golem Foundry. It's 4 cards technically. One of them
4-card combo. Most of the Pauper combos are.
The cool thing is you can have your Mirror Retrievers countered or killed. You can use them as blockers. You need one in your graveyard eventually. And then Mirror Retriever, sack it to Ashnod's Altar for 2. It returns the other Mirror Retriever, cast it for 2, sack it to get the other. Like, you just start looping the Mirror Retrievers back and forth. You create infinite counters on the Golem Foundry. You create infinite golems. And the cool thing is that there's ways in the deck. There's this Blood Fountain, this black artifact that allows you to return 2 target creatures from your yard. And then there's the new tech for this deck is Conjurer's Bauble, which is an artifact that allows you to return a card of any kind.
It's spicy.
It's the Conjurer's Bauble loop, apparently, which I still don't understand.
I'll walk you through it later.
Yeah, thank you. Because apparently you can just, at that point, you can draw your whole deck, get to whatever card you want. And then, of course, there's silver bullets in the deck, like Makeshift Munitions or Reckless Fireweaver, that allow you to just... Or, one thing, there's a guy, I'm going to shout out, I know you're not watching, but dude on Magic, or on YouTube, he plays Magic Online called Kalikai's.
Oh, yes. Oh, Kalikai's is fantastic.
Kalikai's is incredible.
Fantastic.
You're an incredible narrator. You're, like, dummy intelligent. Like, so cool watching your content, watching you work through the, like, and also, like, I built this deck because of the content you've been making lately. I don't know if I'm on your level in regards to seeing the line.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, like no, I commented on one of his videos being like, "Add me to the list, man. I'm one of the another one you've gotten sucked in to build this deck," and it's like it's so cool watching him go like do these Pauper leagues and taking down these menacing decks with this combo deck.
So just to further pump his tires, every Tuesday he puts out a recap of all the MTGO weekly tournaments, the meta.
Yep.
And it's so interesting to see how the meta is always changing, and then he breaks it down by the percentage of what type of decks are dominating the meta.
Yeah, I mean, like that's why he's so dialed, right?
Yeah.
And like the reason I brought this up is because he's starting to run. Is it called Stream of Thought? It's a blue card. It's in a sideboard. It's basically Storm Mill. And, And he's done it because there's a concession that you have to make as a person that plays on Magic Online. Sometimes you have the loop, you have the win,
but you have to
but
demonstrate
you have to click 9,000 times to do it. You have to do the loop, clicking, like stacking.
I'm sorry,
triggers.
you can't just say I present a loop in which this happens and I win.
No, in digital. And I actually watched one a couple weeks ago. He played a match where he put in the text like I have the loop, blah blah blah, and the guy was like, "Show me." And he was like, "God damn it!"
Yeah.
And he went through and did it, and it ran. Magic Online has a chess clock.
Yeah.
It ran his clock down to 5 minutes, and then he did not have enough time to complete match 3 or game 3 and lost the match. And he was a little salty about it. But it's like digital Magic is different. You are actually playing against a chess clock.
Yeah.
And you're playing against a digital interface that you have to learn how to click fast. And
if I could get one piece of feedback to Magic Online, they should have hotkeys that allow you to repeat the
I think you can bind them. I think F6 is like pass the turn without interacting.
Yeah, but I wish that they had the action of like repeat your last move for this.
I have our podcast hot take moment right now.
What's that?
Oh yeah.
Commander players, you'll get better if you play Arena. You just will.
Oh yeah.
And this is someone who doesn't play Arena.
Okay.
What you just said is infutable. No, you have a computer doing it for you. Pay attention to what that computer does for you.
Oh, yeah.
You will be able to literally register that in your games in actual paper Magic.
Yes.
Do it. Please listen to the ADHD motherfucker right now.
Hold on.
Do it.
If you only play in paper, please try Arena, because Arena will show you exactly what a trigger looks like when a trigger layers on the stack in between spells, and how you have to choose the layer and the order of triggers. Magic Online will infuriate you with how many times it asks you to pass priority And like
That is what it requires.
but if you do something like I just recently did and go to a tournament and sit down against a real human, verbally announcing your triggers and like you can't get good at doing that without, I think, playing digital.
Best of both worlds.
For sure.
Digital
Best of both worlds.
digital flexes that muscle of knowing
Yep.
exactly how the process works.
How all
Best
the
of
triggers
both
work, how
worlds.
the stack works. 100%. I
And
agree with you.
You know what the crazy thing is? You can play Commander on Magic Online.
Yeah.
You can play Commander against, I think, 5 other opponents. I think you can do a 6-way, right?
Jeez, I hope that chess clock is way bigger.
Dude, not only the
Jeez.
chess clock, but every single thing that every single person does passes priority to all other players.
Actually, this-
that's the way Magic works, right?
this-
It is fucking weird.
This totally segues into another hot take, but it does make sense when it comes to it. Don't ignore your references. Don't hate on net decking references.
Yep.
Okay? Please, none of these things make any sense. If you're hating on anything at all, you're gatekeeping. You have to stop. You have to be more open-minded.
Listen to Brady.
Listen to me. I am a golden boy of what you should. Well, why would you set me up that way? I'm horrible. It makes sense. No, I'm ADHD as fuck. I'm dependent on reference tools. I'm dependent on outside opinions. Like literally, why would you deprive yourself of all of these things that are out there? Just don't do those things.
So on that regard, you got to play more Arena because Brandon is. After face to face
I struggle.
Saskatoon.
It's because I struggle. Everything
I
you
know,
just said.
but Arena
because I struggle with it.
is smoother. Arena's way smoother.
Than MTGO.
I tip my hat
Yep.
to the Arena team because the client, especially because like, man, I play it on my phone now. It's actually pretty good for playing on your phone.
Oh yeah. I'll rip in a couple games, especially.
I've
when,
been debating with my tablet. I have my tablet.
Yeah,
I
you
have
got an iPad
a
Pro.
2022 Mac. You know, it's
the Gucci tablet.
It's fancy. I should be playing freaking Arena on it.
Okay, so I feel like we should wrap this up because
Oh, I want to wrap this up. Actually, may I?
Yep.
Austin Streamer of Out of Frequency. Baby, you were the best thing out of freaking Saskatoon face to face. Yeah, no. Meeting the band out there was great. Please try to seduce your crew into coming onto our channel.
well
Just
they
do
said
it.
they were coming to Calgary for a music.
Yeah,
right?
but Austin seemed to hint that only maybe a few of them from the band would participate. No, you will be completed. You will come to us. You will.
That sounds like a threat,
Yeah?
Austin.
Yeah.
yeah.
Challenge
of
him to a
coming.
game.
Lots of coming. Okay.
All right. Rocky, is there anything that you would like to say in post?
I would just like to encourage once again, just like I did last week, for any players who really enjoy casual Commander Magic. We've had quite a few Commander players come and give Pauper a try. The Pauper community here is absolutely fantastic. It's so welcoming. Even if you don't have a Pauper deck, as I mentioned, most of us have 3 or 4 decks. We're happy to lend a deck out to you.
It's amazing. No,
We would love to build the community.
and it's
Yeah.
affordable.
Oh yeah.
It's so affordable.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would love to see, and I recently challenged him with the notion, like I want to approach popular mechanics because you like if you're feeling like popular, if you're feeling like individualism is the one thing that's especially directing you in this game, in this amazing versatile game, I can guarantee you in Pauper, there is a chance you can do it. So please try to commit.
Yeah.
Pauper's incredible. It's so much more buck than you think.
Yeah.
Like Brainstorm, Counterspell, Preordain, all that shit is
It's funny you say that. I think that what scares a lot of people away from it and why people play the 100 card format versus the 60 card format is they think that
$30 over 500.
well, there's the cost.
Yeah.
But then everybody thinks that when you break it down to a 60 card format, suddenly everybody gets really competitive. And suddenly the whole game is very competitive and scary. But I think that... Oh.
No. Sorry. I'm just inspired because I don't want to jump in. I did not mean to jump in on that. No, there's a nuance to that because as a Commander player, what you just said there is the perfect parallel to many of the debates I've had recently that we're not going to cover right now, unfortunately, at the very tail end of the episode, unfortunately. But thank you for saying that literally because the game does represent infinity. You know, this is one of the most intrinsically complicated but human games ever invented. So our approach to it is whatever you want. Generally, sorry.
No, on that, I think that's a beautiful way to end. I think that there is so much potential to this game, and I think that moving down from something that's very casual, a lot of people think that 60 card formats are less casual, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. I think the thing that I get from Pauper is the nostalgia. It brings me back to the days when you first started playing kitchen table Magic. You know, just like
we don't know shit.
where you don't know a whole lot, but it's also that you're playing with whatever cards you had because you were a kid and you couldn't afford to go out and buy all the fancy cards to build that super powerful expensive deck.
You know
I
what?
felt that way with Tanner showing me about Pioneer.
Yeah,
Straight up.
No, like we've been inspiring each other in regards to the things that like I feel like I've been diving down the spike train lately, and I've been trying to inspire you guys to do so, and I've been catching right, and like you've of course like you were the one that got me into Commander in the first place. Like I got into Magic. I built
the Pauper
60
bug you just gave me. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
I mean even like Pauper Commander is really fun.
PDH, absolutely. Yeah.
But I was gonna say like hearing you talk about that, like I've got a whole bunch of decks that are in boxes that are like. For instance, when Ixalan came out, I built a Polyraptor deck, an Enrage deck, a 60 card, and before I discovered Commander, the deck's shit. But it's like it's a casual deck that I built because it was like a concept I thought up, and then I put the deck together.
And it's fun.
I would love to do an episode maybe where we just like pull out those like the forgotten decks where I actually built one for Callie that was the Phyrexian Obliterator with Sirens. Like the sirens. The sirens force you to attack, right? It's like no, you will.
You should make that Esper now because of the.
The reason the sirens it was poetic because sirens like their call brings you into the rocks to your demise, right?
Make it Esper.
And the Phyrexian Obliterator was the fucking
Esper
rocks.
Sirens?
Make it Esper because of the Vindicator. That's what I'm saying. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, no, oh my god.
With that,
See, now we're brewing.
You
now
are
we're
such
brewing.
a casual.
$800 deck.
This man wants me to play a fucking card that has black with a card that says white in the same deck. Anyway, on that note,
shut up.
The insanity we've gone. I don't know, an hour and a half. I guess that's not long. But this was podcast number 1 in the new house.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rocky, for coming down and being a guest.
Thank you so much for having me out again. I hope to be a part of the show a lot more.
Yeah,
and-
no.
2 days, we're going to record some games.
Yeah, cool. I'm into it.
So I guess is there anything? Check out the face-to-face vlog video if you haven't. Or if you're listening on Spotify and you don't know that we make gameplay videos, go check out our YouTube. We do more than just get drunk and talk on microphones. So, I promise.
I'm not intoxicated.
We'll need more soju next time.
Yeah. No. Thank you for listening. Especially, I mean, an hour and a half in. If you are here, you're one of the real ones.
You are a rogue in addition to your other subtypes. So guess what? Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah, we love you. Thank you for
You're
listening.
welcome.
Thank you for
I'm
watching.
supposed to thank you for being a one.
Don't forget, like the free real estate shit is like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help.
Yeah.
It really does because it just tells YouTube that people like what they
Challenge
see.
us. Like, if you don't like anything we said during this podcast, please challenge our
fight
perspectives.
Brady.
We are
Please.
not. Oh yeah, no, I'd love to fight. No, but in all honesty, no. If you have anything to say, don't be afeared. Just throw it out there. We are not here to condemn you. If anything, we depend on what you have to say because if anything, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but who cares? It's about you.
I promise that
That's
one day,
why we're here. It's
one
about
day
you.
we'll publish a gameplay episode that doesn't have an egregious mistake in it.
We are not. No, that's not our thing here. We're a bunch of rogues.
On
That's
that
it.
note, I can hear the sultry sounds of Grey Matters sending us off.
Oh.
I love this song. Thank you so much, Eric, for letting us use your music for the intro and outro. Use the ears. We will see you on the next episode of the Rogues Passage podcast. Thank you again, and see you later. Bye.